Welcome to Ageless Curiosity. We are Alison and Ian. We are currently on board Enchanted Princess on our way back to Southampton after a 7-night Scandinavian and comedy cruise. Do look out for some upcoming videos. We've got some wonderful footage of this fantastic cruise. You may wish to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, so you don't miss out. So this is now our 5th cruise in 12 months, 3 on P&O and 2 on Princess. We thought we would describe our experience and comparisons of these two cruise lines. So we were on Iona last month, and as mentioned, we are on Enchanted Princess at the moment, so this we feel is a timely comparison. So let's start with some facts. P&O and Princess are both owned by the Carnival Corporation. P&O is based in Southampton and Princess in America. So P&O currently has 6 cruise ships in operation, with the 7th due later this year. So Iona had her maiden voyage in August 2021. She has a capacity of 5,206 passengers and 1,726 crew. She has 18 decks and is powered by liquefied natural gas. Princess, on the other hand, has 15 ships in operation. Enchanted Princess launched in November 2021. She has 19 decks and capacity for passengers is 3,660 and 1,346 crew.
Okay, so I better start us off then with design. Let's start with the main talking point for most people on a ship, and that's the central area, atrium on P&O Iona, and it's the piazza here on the Enchanted Princess. They're two very different areas, aren't they?
Definitely. Yeah, on Iona it's this huge, big, open plan area with these ginormous glass windows, so you can look out at the sea, you can look out, sky and the sea, top to bottom. It's absolutely amazing. You've got that on both sides of the ships. Whereas here on Enchanted, you've got lots of different sections, a little bit more compartmentalised. Very distinct little areas. So you've got your cafe in one side, you've got one of the speciality restaurants where we are now. Above us is Crooners, one of the bars. So it's very, very different in that way. You've got fountains at the bottom here, because they both cover 3 levels, but here on Enchanted you've got some fountains at the bottom level. You've got a lot more floor space, I'd say, on Iona.
Yeah, Iona is very much far more open plan, but with that comes a certain hum of everyone milling around doing their own things. But as you quite rightly point out here, you've got your own little areas, and you can almost like hide away from it all, but still hear and see what's going on elsewhere. Yeah,
they're swings and roundabouts really. And I think then when it comes to things like tables and seating, again, that's very different. I think we absolutely love the styling of all of that on Iona. It was absolutely amazing. Different materials used in the seating, different styles, sizes of chairs. And I have to say, here on Enchanted, it's slightly different to Sky. I think they have improved some of that. And we've noticed some of the swivel chairs in the Vista and the Live Lounge for comparative venues. They're quite similar, actually. Didn't notice that before.
Yeah, no, I have to say, I think the furniture seems an odd thing for me to be talking about, but the furniture on P&O in general, the contemporary style of it suits our taste a lot better. And we understand this is all about taste. Here on Enchanted, they've certainly improved from the styling from Sky. Yeah, that's for sure. I do find some of the chairs really uncomfortable to sit in after you've had a meal, or you want to go to a bar or whatever. I think they're designed for people with thigh bones this long, because you end up sitting down and then just leaning back and you're almost slouching everywhere. So I'm not sure what that's about, and maybe it's to make you feel uncomfortable after 30 minutes so you move on somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe it's some subconscious design ethic there that we're not aware of. But the two areas, they're whichever one you go on, you'll enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just a personal view. Right, let's now talk about promenade deck, because here on Enchanted we do not have a promenade deck. We've got this tiny section towards the front and the back of the ship, just a little bit. One of them's, I think, for smoking area, one of the sides, but it's really, there's not an area you can walk around the whole circumference of the ship. Whereas on Iona, I know it's been a little bit controversial, but that deck 8 was fantastic to walk around, but of course you did have those cabins sort of onto one side that you were trying not to look at.
It's so hard though, isn't it, when you're walking around there and you're just going, no, look over there. But you're right, it's controversial, but
Yeah.
it's a big miss, and
Yeah.
it's very popular regardless. Is that if you give people a promenade deck, they will promenade without a shadow of a doubt. And it's a
Absolutely.
shame that neither Sky or Enchanted have that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether that will likely change in future ships. Maybe they will look at that. But,
Who knows?
but yeah, that's a big plus for P&O on that regard.
Right, let's go back up to the top deck now. So here on Enchanted Princess, we have movies under the stars. So it's this huge screen that you can watch at various points during the day. They show films, they show music concerts, and there's lots and lots of seating all around. So it really is designed, in my eyes, for good weather. On Iona, there is some outside area, but the sort of the centerpiece at the top is the Sky Dome, where you have this big glass dome, which means it's a venue. Though there's a pool there, it's a venue that can then be covered over at night and be used for entertainment. We know the sound quality has been a little bit controversial again. I think for singers, but for performances we saw some acrobats, sort of what they're called.
Almost like Cirque du Soleil on the sea.
Which was absolutely fine, and that had lasers, and that was absolutely fine. But anything with singing and music we feel is slightly distorted. But again, they're just two very different venues, and I think it's all about the destination, because I think in the Mediterranean it's going to be fantastic. We're coming on here next year on Enchanted, and I think we'll perhaps be up on the top watching a movie literally in the evening time, whereas here I wouldn't consider that.
No, without a doubt. I think clearly Iona is probably built more for the Northern European market anyway, which hence the dome. But nevertheless, it is. I think the concept was correct. I just don't think they quite hit the mark with that. Whereas clearly, if the weather's good and you're outside and you've got more deck space upstairs, then I think that's a winner for me.
Definitely. Now, one thing we have missed here on Enchanted is the equivalent of the crow's nest that you get on P&O. So that's an area at the very front of the ship, quite high up, where you're inside. You've got an amazing view out on the bow, is it right?
Yeah,
the bow of the ship, get the right terminology.
Season cruisers.
We don't have that here in Enchanted. They seem to have put more cabins in that area instead, so we do miss that. So actually looking out again, we was down here in the little booths in the Salty Dog, and we got a little window here to look out, but you don't have that big wide view, so we feel that's a little bit of a shame.
And I think something else that is missing, and surprisingly for me with regards to Princess, is a sports bar. Now on Iona and Britannia, even in P&O, you've got Brody's, which is almost like an English style pub, but a good area for sports if you're anything like me. And a lot of people that cruise like their sports, etc., and the chance to sit down and have a drink whilst enjoying a game or something is really appealing. But here, there doesn't seem to be anywhere.
No,
like that,
the screens for any sport are in the casino. And you know what? The casino on American cruise lines, you're allowed to smoke, so it's actually not an area we personally feel it's pleasant to be in. So we wouldn't be watching any sport in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fine, but it'd be nice to have an alternative. That's for sure. So I think that probably P&O get my. For the sports bar element, I think that P&O get the win there for
Definitely
me.
plus. But at least here on Enchanted rather than the Sky Princess, we now have the Crooner's Bar. I think they brought that back. That was on like Regal and some of the older style, so that's now back on Enchanted. So that was a nice venue. Yeah, we enjoyed that, and that has a pianist that plays in the evening to entertain us.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that probably wraps up the design. I think there's pros and cons on both ships here, so I don't think there's an overall winner, to be fair, in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk about cabins now. So on both cruise ships, you have a variety of cabins. So you've going from your inside to perhaps ocean view to balcony to suites. I know on Princess there are less suites, they tend to be at the back of the front, the really big ones, the really expensive ones, whereas on P&O, particularly on sort of Iona, you've got the conservatory suites, so you've got a bit of the outside in, a bit bigger space. Perhaps that's really convenient if you've got family with you and you want a separate area, sort of section off. But of course, as we're saying before, some of those are on that dreaded deck 8.
Yeah, on the promenade deck.
On that promenade deck. Now we like a cabin towards the aft. Now we had once been on the very, very aft and absolutely wonderful. Some of the ships on Iona, those ones at the back, you actually have the sun deck, the lounge below you, so it's actually could be a little bit noisy, so we haven't chosen that on Iona, but you can get a bigger size balcony for the same price as a category that's a few doors away. So do look out for some of those grades. Certainly if you look on our cabin tour videos, you'll see that we've actually, the last couple have been bigger size balconies, which is really, really nice to have. Okay. Now the other difference we found is sort of the wardrobes, where they are. So here on Princess we have, and indeed on Britannia, it was the same. We have the walk-in wardrobe, which we really like. You've got a separate area. It's like a dressing area as well, just outside the bathroom. So we feel that's a real plus. And it does mean you have a big, long length mirror. Now on Iona, to see in the mirror, it will all depend where your bed is. So we've had both. We've had the bed right next to the wardrobes, and we've had a sofa next to the wardrobes. And if your bed is next to the wardrobe, you can't stand back and look at yourself in the mirror.
No, exactly.
So I think that's not a great design.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is possible on one of the Facebook groups. It is possible to look at the bed wardrobe combination on all the different cabins. So if you particularly want to find one where you've got the sofa near the wardrobe, then you'll be able to see the long length mirror. Okay. The other difference we found is on Iona, you do get a nice sofa, 2-seater sofa. Now again, this is just for the standard cabin. We're here on Princess, we haven't got that. It is not a long enough cabin for that.
Yeah, I do like it. It's really nice on the Iona to be able to sit on the sofa, especially if the sofa's at the end where your balcony is, so you can just have the balcony doors open and just sit there. Yeah, perhaps out of the sun and just watch the world go by, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's similarities. Both have fridges, both have the metal wall, so you can put your hooks there. Actually, I will mention about the wardrobe space on Iona. I talked about on Princess, we've got the long height wardrobes. You don't have that on Iona. So if you're a tall person, you've got a long dress, you do need those hooks then on sort of the walls to be able to put your long dresses, hook them on.
Something I was wanting to pick up on, particularly on the Enchanted Princess, pretty much a brand new ship, is the lack of USB ports. There's two USB ports, so we would always recommend anyway, whatever ship you sail on, is have one of these multi USB power ports that can adapt to any, whether it's EU, American or UK sockets. I'll put a picture of that as you can see now as to what we use. I think I'm very surprised still at this time that USB ports are still few and far between.
Yeah.
And another thing, while I'm ranting about stuff, soft closing toilet seats.
Oh gosh, yeah.
What's going on with that? Why does no one have them? It's like an extra £5, £5, you know, to get something like that done.
Yeah.
Sort it out, cruise ships. The amount of people that fail to be able to close those, you know, quietly, that, you know, in the middle of the night, etc. It's ridiculous. It's just a simple hack, simple thing that can be sorted out, which I'm sure it will be soon enough.
Let's hope so. Right, while we're talking about toilets, let's talk about the bathroom itself. Now, I have to say, I'm not that fond of the bathroom here on Enchanted. It really is quite small. Once you're in the shower and you have got a curtain, it's no door, it's a curtain, it's okay, you've got enough room. But when you step outside, your toilet's just next to you, and I don't feel I'm that big a person. I just feel there's just not much room to move around in. Whereas on Iona, it was much more floor space. And if I'm rating the bathroom alone, Iona gets my score 100%.
In general, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So that's my view. So
what about the shower?
Shower I think is
shower curtain. Is that really necessary in this day and age again?
But it's angled, it's a curved one, so it hasn't come in on me and stuck on me at all. That I can cope with, but yeah, it's the size of the floor space when you walk outside, it's a bit of a pain. But nevertheless, they're both really clean, you've got lots of towels. I've got no other complaints about that.
Good. Sorry, I was lurching forward because I saw something falling then.
Okay.
Right, okay, so I think that's
Just one more thing I'm going to point out about the cabins, the difference, and this is quite a biggie, it's around sort of storage space. So here on Enchanted, beside both sides of the bed, we have got a 2-drawer unit with a little cubby hole bit as well. On Iona, you've got this tiny little area at the side of the bed which you really can't put anything in. So,
Yes.
yeah, if you've got lots of bits and pieces, then it's a bit of a pain really. Iona seems to have storage all over the place, little areas, little narrow cupboards, sort of under the TV, and sort of, again, perhaps look at our videos and you can see, but we've managed to find, we don't travel that light, but we've managed to find room for everything in both cabins. And the bed on both cruise ships have been fantastic. We've always slept well, so there's no, do you think Princess is?
I've got to give Princess the edge on
slight
that,
edge?
I've got to say. I felt it. I can't remember the last time I had as good a night of sleep as when I sleep on the Princess bed. They are fabulous, fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to start this one then. I think it's a subject close to my belly, food. I've got to say, I think, let's start with the buffet. I think at the moment, Princess, when that hands down, the variety and the quality of the food in the buffet, I think, is far superior to that P&O have offered recently. There's just one issue for me with regards to the buffet, certainly on Enchanted Princesses. Why no trays? Where are the trays? And they're starting to serve everything up in little dishes. So what happens is you can't put the little dishes on your tray, and you're trying to have to juggle them with another plate of food, etc., etc. Maybe again there's some sort of design psychology that's going on to say you don't need that third bit of cake or whatever, and you need to get the calories up by getting up and getting down again. But it just struck me as being a little odd that there are no trays in the buffet. For whatever reason, I'm sure there's some sort of reason for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
No one's yet been able to explain it to me as to what that may be.
My gripe here on Princess is around the labelling of the food. So in the buffet, they do not label whether something contains dairy or nuts or any of the allergens, gluten. So really it's a bit hit and miss. I don't eat meat and I do restrict what dairy I have. And it has been, I've had to be a lot more flexible. It's just the labelling isn't there. If you ask them, they will go away and find out. But you know what? You just want to rack up, sort of have a bit of a recce and see what you want. You don't want to be asking all the time. So I think that's a little bit of a shame. If you do have an allergy, then I do think that is going to be a little bit more restrictive for you, whereas mine's sort of a lifestyle choice. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame these days they don't have more labelling.
What about other offerings elsewhere than on the ship?
Okay, right, let's think about on Iona. What I absolutely loved was the Olive Tree, which was a restaurant that you didn't have to pay extra for. You did have to book though. It was very, very popular, but it was an Italian style restaurant and you could have your lunch there throughout the day into the evening. That I thought was very, very good. That was no extra charge for that, but it was hard to book.
I guess it's P&O's equivalent to Gigi's.
Yeah,
I'm assuming on Gigi's on Enchanted Princess.
On Sky it was called Alfredo's.
That's right.
Here it's called Gigi's.
Yeah, I have to say the Olive Tree Grove, I think it might be an Olive Grove, but either way, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really nice. Really good food. What about this the speciality dining on the
Right,
ships?
well we've used, here on Enchanted we booked Sabatini's. And we did that on night 2. So I think we'd been to the buffet on night 1. So night 2, we thought it was good. I did enjoy it. It was a lot of courses, and it was an extra charge. I think it's $25 each. And then the next night we went to the main dining room, and it was Italian night. And my goodness, it was, I think, even better. So I kind of feel we didn't need to do the speciality restaurant. The main dining rooms here are amazing. Last time we didn't use them so much when we were on the Sky. This time we've actually been blown away by the choices and the quality of the food, how it presents. It's absolutely been amazing. However, on Iona, going back to that, they did have lots of choices for a lot of non-meat eating choices, whereas here I think I've basically got one choice, which has been fine, but there was definitely more choice for non-meat eaters on Iona for us.
Yeah, I think the veganism, and vegetarian offerings, I think are improving. Every time we're cruising, they're improving. And I think that's only going to get better.
Yeah.
I can't see it getting any worse.
Yeah. On Iona, we did enjoy the Norwegian taster night in the Epicurean. So that was a specialty restaurant. It was very themed because we were in Norway. It was a fjords cruise. They don't seem to have that here in terms of, we've been in Norway and Denmark. There's been nothing specific because of the countries we've been in.
No, I've had in some gravlax which is the type of smoked salmon.
Yeah.
In the buffet. I think that's pretty much been about it, isn't it?
Actually, one thing we really like here is the International Cafe on Princess. It's 24 hours a day, so you can, in the middle of, we haven't done this yet, maybe one more night, is get up in the middle of the night and come down for a little snack, because they have sweet and savoury snacks. They have drinks, hot drinks, coffees, specialty coffees. I even had an iced coffee yesterday. It was so hot in Oslo. Came back and had a nice cold iced coffee. It was delicious. But I think that's a real plus. Obviously that is, we'll talk in a minute about the packages. So because we have the Princess Plus package, that has been included, so we haven't had to pay extra, but it's been a real bonus, and they have takeaway cups as well. So if you want to have something back in your room, or if you want to get something before you get off at port, you can get something in a takeaway cup.
Yeah, I have to say, and I think you just give me an idea now. We might have to do some sort of challenge as to ordering at 3 o'clock in the morning and seeing what's available and what isn't.
Yeah.
But yes, the International Cafe is fantastic. Just the food in general on Princess is better.
And I will say, we haven't had any problems with food not being available and drinks. I know, these times are difficult at the minute, but we are hearing currently on sort of P&O ships, they're having problems sourcing some of the food, and I think they've had to close some of the restaurants. We thought we might experience that on here, but we've been okay. It's been absolutely fine.
What we would say is that is at the time of filming.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll get over any issues with their supply chains, etc. And that won't affect them negatively, because food on there is great. Food on there is fine on P&O. It's just a step up on Princess.
Little edge, yeah.
Without a doubt.
And we have not gone hungry whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. We've been blown away by the choice everywhere you go on different decks, because you've got if you're out in the pool deck, you've got the slice of pizza you can have. You've got your hot dogs, your ice cream, the free ice cream, because both ships have got a gelato area, which is a little bit extra. And
popcorn. There was popcorn.
Popcorn up in on Princess.
Swirls, swirls for
the evening.
Moving under the stars, etc. Yeah, great. Can't complain. You can. I think it's very few cruise lines you can really complain about the food, but yeah, Princess won it for me.
Yeah.
Well, that brings part 1 of our comparison to an end. But please join us in part 2 when we discuss the drinks, medallion app, entertainment and staff. Do leave any comments about your own experience of these cruise lines, and if you have not done so already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Bye for now.